Have you ever wondered why you have your mom's eyes or your dad's smile? Or maybe why your brother is so much taller than everyone else in the family? The answers to these fascinating questions lie in a field of science called classical genetics. At its core, classical genetics is all about individuals and their families. It's the study of how physical traits, what scientists call phenotypes, are passed down through generations. By looking at these observable characteristics, we can start to unravel the mysteries of the genes that create them. The entire field of genetics owes its existence to a remarkable individual, Gregor Mendel. He was a monk, a gardener, and a part-time scientist with an insatiable curiosity. Working in his monastery garden, Mendel conducted experiments that were simple in their design, but staggering in their conclusions. Imagine this: with no fancy technology, no computers, not even a pocket calculator, he figured out the fundamental laws of inheritance. These principles were so accurate and elegant that they have stood the test of time and form the very foundation of genetics today. It's pretty amazing what you can discover with a green thumb and a sharp mind. Because of Mendel's foundational work, classical genetics is often called Mendelian genetics. It seems only fair that if you kickstart an entire scientific discipline, it gets named after you, right? You might also hear it referred to as transmission genetics. This name makes perfect sense because it highlights what classical genetics is all about, describing how traits are passed on or transmitted from parents to their children. So whether you call it classical, Mendelian, or transmission genetics, it all points back to the same fascinating study of heredity. Now you might be thinking, don't you need to know about complex stuff like cells and chromosomes to understand genetics? And you're right, the study of cells and chromosomes is definitely a part of classical genetics. Cell division is the engine that drives the whole process of inheritance. But here is a little secret. You do need to be an expert mechanic to drive a car. In the same way, you can jump right into understanding simple inheritance without knowing all the intricate details of cell division. In fact, Mendel himself had no knowledge of chromosomes or cells when he made his groundbreaking discoveries. He pieced together the puzzle of heredity just by carefully observing the results of his plant breeding experiments. And of course, we can't talk about passing traits from one generation to the next without talking about sex and reproduction. The genetics of how biological sex is determined is a huge part of classical genetics. For many species, including us, it comes down to specific combinations of genes and chromosomes. But nature is full of surprises, and it gets even more complicated and interesting than that. Did you know that for some animals, like crocodiles and turtles, the environment actually plays a role in determining sex? The temperature at which their eggs incubate can decide whether the offspring are male or female. And get this, some organisms can even change their sex during their lifetime, sometimes just by moving to a new location. It's a wild and wonderful world out there. We'll dive deeper into all these astonishing details in future videos, exploring everything from the Punnett Square to the incredible diversity of life. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting and want to learn more, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next genetic adventure. See you next time.